Good morning, YouTube. This is Tyre Metalhead Weatherman. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday. It is May 29th, 2022. Few things to talk about since last time I spoke to you here. Figured I was going to have to do a morning video given the way things have been progressing, and sure enough, that is held true. So, for starters, we're going to go into severe weather first. I'm sure you know what else I'm going to be talking about momentarily in the Eastern Pacific and what impacts that may have on the Gulf later this week. But in the meantime, we have now 3 days in a row of an enhanced risk for severe weather. We have one today, we have one tomorrow, and we have one Tuesday. And then there's even a slight risk on Wednesday on day 4. So we're going to have to go into all of that real quick. And we're going to go into at least today and tomorrow's threat, maybe Tuesday's threat if we can get out far enough on the HRRR, since we got a 12Z available. But anyway, we're going to get right into what we have now. Here's today's threat. We have the hazard types available. I mean, not much has really changed here. Don't really have to go over this much. We'll just take a look at what the radar looks like. Maybe take a further look at the low-level jet, see if anything has changed. But I do notice a slight change. Whereas yesterday, Lincoln and Omaha were in it. I think this is kind of curved back a little bit more. It's kind of got a little bit more of a linear style look to it. So I'm definitely expecting more of a line of storms, and we could get tornadoes on the leading or trailing edges of it, depending on a multitude of factors. But as far as the wind and hail threat, it's still the same. There's still a hatched risk in the 30% area for both. Wind threat's a little bit more widespread now, spreading all the way through pretty much almost all of Nebraska, with the exception of the southeastern corner. Go to day 2, and day 2 I'm a little bit more concerned about. I think the low-level jet is a little bit more robust, a little bit more organized, and this could lead to a greater tornado threat. And lo and behold, here we are. We have a 10% threat on day 2, as well as a hazardous risk. And this includes pretty much includes Fargo. This includes Aberdeen and North and South Dakota. And then we have Sioux Falls as well. This also works its way into Minnesota towards the western half of it. So we'll have to be really careful in this area on tomorrow. I know it's Memorial Day, and I know a lot of people are going to be out. A lot of people are going to be grilling. Just keep an eye on the weather. That's all I got to say. Wind threat. We just got all of this today, actually, when I think about it, because yesterday it was within the 72-hour mark. We're now within 48. Wind threat expands out as far east as Minneapolis, especially not enhanced wind threat, but the hatched risk stretches almost all the way up to Grand Forks, Michigan, but it also includes also includes Fargo, North Dakota. Aberdeen, you're just outside of this hatched risk, but you are within the 30% mark, so things could change very quickly. Then we have Sioux Falls in play as well, so be on guard for high winds and hail. The hail threat is really impressive here. Sounds like we got some pretty good lapse rates going on there as well. And this hatched risk extends really far south, all the way to Woodward. Omaha, Lincoln, you're all in play for that. Sioux Falls, you are as well. And then our 30% area, we have Aberdeen just inside of that hatched risk area and right on the edge of the 30% line, as well as Fargo, North Dakota. So all three hazards definitely seem to be more prevalent tomorrow, and potentially even more dangerous. So I'm expecting a big weather day. Next couple of days, I expect them to be very big weather days. And then we look towards day 3, and we now have a new enhanced risk. This area looks like it's pushed a lot further to the south. This is including Wichita, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri as well. Then we look at the slight risk, and we're going as far south as Lubbock, maybe even Lubbock, Texas, all the way up towards Green Bay. And then if you're in the marginal, if you won't even count the marginal, which, I mean, severe weather can happen, in all modes can happen there. We can even include areas like Marquette stretching all the way down towards maybe even Midland, Texas, which is insane. And then we even have a marginal risk here in Florida. We have, I mean, this is that time of year, so this isn't surprising. But basically, Orlando, Melbourne, Tampa, Fort Myers, and Miami, you guys are in play for a pop-up severe storm possibly, or a small line of them. It really just depends on how the day goes. So in the meantime, we'll go over the Threat Tuesday in tomorrow's video since I'll be off work. But for right now, we're going to take a look at the low-level jet, look at the wind field real quick. And this kind of has a little bit of a look like it's still the models are just showing that the greatest energy is still a little bit further off to the east of where the severe weather is most of the severe weather is expected. Maybe this will become a late evening threat because low-level jet really does pick up. But Monday morning business definitely looks like it picks up. And then towards Monday evening, hopefully by then most people will be either on the way home and getting ready for work tomorrow. But you might have to watch out for some nocturnal storms. It's probably going to be dark when these storms really start to take shape here. And then on Tuesday morning, it looks like our low-level jet's starting to die down here. But we'll have to watch this area for redevelopment come Tuesday. Let's go to what the reflectivity could look like. I didn't have this in loop mode. Apologize for that. So now that we have this about loaded, let's get right into it. Here's our upper level low right here in the central U.S. Expecting it to cause some severe weather, but everything just really seems to be out of position for a really, really pronounced severe weather outbreak. I mean, there's stuff forming to the north, but it just doesn't really seem that robust enough to really cause a lot of weather. I could be wrong, and I honestly hope I'm right in this case. But if I'm wrong, this could turn nasty. But I'm more concerned about this low that's now come in here, because look at the positioning of that. And look where the storms start forming, right on that southeastern edge here. And it's these storms that are a little bit further to the south here. Right, I'd say right around this region in particular, I'd be really concerned. Wish I had like some sort of marker to really outline this area, but that's going to be the area I have the greatest interest in as far as tornadoes are concerned. By the wee hours of Tuesday, we have a line of storms that goes all the way through Iowa as this upper level low moves off, and then we can almost kind of see this little area here that may pop up as an upper level low by the later models today. That is probably going to be set to cause more trouble around the southern and central plains. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But that's enough about severe weather. Let's take a look at the real topic here. And that is now Hurricane Agatha. As of 7 a.m. today, we've had our last, or 7 a.m. Central Time, we have had an update, and we now have Hurricane Agatha. Winds up to 65 knots, 75 miles per hour. Central low pressure at a really impressive 987 millibars, and probably still dropping. The speed is slowed since the last time I've looked at this. It was moving at about 5 miles an hour. Now it is moving at 3. Very concerning considering the fact that this storm will still have more time to strengthen over this area of warm water. Wind shear seems very calm, so there's no reason in my mind as to why this can't continue to strengthen and make it maybe even to category 2 and beyond even possibly. And then interesting thing is we're going to go here and we're going to get a more in-depth look at things. Here's what Agatha looks like on satellite right now. Really starting to get its act together. It looks far better than it did the last than a couple of days ago. See a nice little eye that is formed, that is trying to form here. See that group of thunderstorms that's popped up right here. Like, look right here. And you'll kind of see it starting to develop that eye. Those feeder bands are starting to get a lot more organized all around the storm, especially on that right front quadrant. And then we have to keep an eye on western Mexico towards Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador. Guys, please be careful this weekend because tropical storm force winds could start late tonight or early Monday. Storm surge is expected near the coast, of course, especially where to the east of the center where Agatha will be making landfall. I mean, and then on top of that, with the rainfall, I'm pretty sure we already got feeder bands already coming in, and this is only going to continue, even going as far as Tuesday night, if not further than that. Also, I would stay off the beaches on the western side of Mexico because there's going to be extreme rip current risk and extremely intense waves and surf. So I know it's not Memorial Day over there, but if you're just planning to go out to the beach this weekend, you might want to put those plans off. Maybe head towards the eastern side of Mexico if you can. But if not, then just stay out of the water. Maybe you could stand out on the ocean if the weather conditions permit. Now, let's take a look at the track here. I'm not necessarily looking at the spaghetti models this time. I'm just looking at a cone, at what we're calling the cone here. So most models are going to be outlined in the blue here in regards to the track, because whichever drawn blank here. I guess I'm still a little bit sleepy, but basically this blue line is where most of the model agreements is. Also some of our most reliable models, and usually this is where we get our little cone of uncertainty here. The further out you go, the greater the cone gets normally, but this blue line is where most of the agreements is, and this definitely looks like it will be taking a track just to the east of, I can't pronounce that right now, I don't want to mess it up. Nah, I'm not going to pronounce it. Golfo de, yeah, I'm not going to mess with that, but basically it's going to be east of Guatemala and just a little bit, and a good bit south and east of Puebla de Zaragoza. I don't know. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, just let me know in the comments if you somehow end up seeing this. But we're going to take a look at the intensity here. Obviously, we're already looking at a hurricane, and we're probably going to be staring down a hurricane at landfall. And we have hurricane watches and warnings, and we have tropical storm and hurricane warnings in effect. And this is expected to be making landfall by, I'd say, maybe Monday afternoon, Central Time most likely. And this is expected to weaken very quickly over this area as it will be moving pretty slow right now. But keep in mind, though, also, that this is where the eye of the hurricane is. There still can be impacts felt far outside of this cone, so let's be very watchful here. But also, the other reason why I bring this up is because we need to take a look at the Atlantic now. So, of course, in the next 48 hours, nothing expected. But when we take a look at the 5-day outlook, things get interesting. Yesterday we had a little bit of an outlook. It showed a 20% chance. But now, as we look at this morning's update, the chance has now gone up to 30%, and the area is stretched out a little bit further to the east, which is really interesting. Storm, I would say, is right about here, and it's expected to move this way, right into our area of interest. So this, I'm starting to gain more confidence in believing that this will be making its way out into the Gulf and potentially redeveloping. 30% isn't a great chance, but keep in mind they have a 30% chance within 5 days, and it's going up. So, not trying to scare anybody, but I would start paying a little bit more attention to this. So, don't panic, especially if you're in the Gulf states. We still have no idea where this is going or if it even will make it over this part of Mexico and into the Gulf. But now might be a time to at least be paying attention, maybe starting to make a plan, because I mean, this is the beginning of hurricane season. But that's pretty much all I got for this video. I'll make another video tomorrow for the ongoing severe weather threats. But until then, this has been Tyler Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys have a good Sunday. I will see you tomorrow, Memorial Day.